Good morning. Good morning. It's so great to see such a full room as you all are coming in. Super exciting for me. Oh, thank you so much. I'm not sure if Thomas called you and said to come listen to me or to Susan, but I know we're both so grateful that you're here. So again, if you don't know me, a little bit of my background. My name is Ellie Whittington. I am a graduate of West Wilkes High School and lived here the first 18 years of my life. I went to Elon University for a bachelor's degree in journalism, and then NC State for a master's in sport, recreation, parks, and tourism. So I've spent most of my career working in sports. I've covered anything from NASCAR to Major League Baseball to 3 Olympic Games, and I have won 2 Emmy Awards. But in the heart of my work is Wilkes County, and anything that I can do to promote my hometown. I've seen it grow from such a place that, with NASCAR leaving in the 90s and to bringing it back. And I had always said that no matter where I was in my sports career, if NASCAR ever returned, that I would return as well and help how I could. So I actually met Thomas a few years ago at North Wilkesboro Speedway. He shared the mission of many of you to bring more to Wilkes County, and something that I have always been passionate about. So when he brought me on board, I love to give back, and this is one way, if I can help you and show you some tools that can help us as a whole to show people how amazing this area is. So today we're going to talk about social media marketing. I'm just going to share a few minutes for the local businesses in the room. How can we get more people to get to your pages to come to your businesses? Whether they're driving through, heading further into the mountains, whether they're coming here to visit family. Every time I come back, I learn of a new business or something new that's going on. And how do I do that? Mostly through social media. So I'm just going to give you some tips for your profiles. And how can we get people to look you up to then want to come to your business? I see many familiar faces in the room, and I see your pages online, and we're going to talk about a few things that we're doing well and some things that maybe we can improve on. So we're going to start with perfecting your profile. How do you create consistent content? And then we're going to do a little brainstorming, and then we will leave some time at the end. Thomas has allowed for some Q&A. So ask me all of your questions, and I will answer to the best of my ability. So, most people check a social media page before they visit a business for the first time. So for a minute, I want you to envision it's almost spring, yay, right, time change, we're getting into traveling and going places. I want you to put yourselves in your vacation that you're going to go on, hopefully in a few weeks or a few months. If it's on the coast, if you're going far away, I want you to think about somewhere you want to be right now, okay? And we're going to this place for the first time. You're probably planning maybe where you're going to go to dinner or what you're going to do, right? And in this current generation, if you see something popular, you're going to look it up on social media. And so going with that is that, what does that profile tell you? People make a quick decision based on a social media profile, whether they're going to visit or they're going to go to another business. And vice versa of that, a lot of people find information about businesses that they didn't even know exist until maybe they see it trending on social media. So to build your bio, this is something that I see pretty frequently, is that the location is not mentioned. So if I were to mention a local business in this room, you would say, oh, I know where that is, or I know the location, or I know the town. However, if someone is coming through this area, or maybe they're in another part of the state or the country, they might not know, well, even where is Wilkesboro, or North Wilkesboro, or Wilkes County, or wherever your location is. So having that in your bio, your location is most important. I'm not talking about necessarily the physical address. That can help. You need that somewhere on your profile, but that first thing is where you locate it. And then your business hours, right? These are just some simple examples that we'll go through, but how do I know when you're open? So the first things I need to know is how to get there and when are you open? Right, we forget those simple things. And then what are you? Those top hitters is again, people are looking for photos of your product and service. That will get further down. But first of all, they want to know these top 2. And then they're looking for reviews or comments, right? If you're making a decision, you want to see the quality of the food, what the event is, what do you offer, that sort of thing, pricing, right? The menu. But first of all, I need to know where it is and when you're open. So here's some simple examples if it was a restaurant, okay? I don't even have to look any further to know this is what they're offering. Okay, what do they have? Something like, what are you doing? And then your location, and then a call to action. A call to action is super important, that last thing. I want you to shop online. I want you to call us for takeout orders. Here's the link to our business. Here's the link to register, right? It's that information, and then this is what you're going to do with the information I just gave you. And again, super short to the point. And we can go through, if you want to ask me questions about your business or what I would recommend, happy to share. Okay, and then to your consistent content. Your content does not have to be perfect. I want to say that again. It does not have to be perfect. You do not have to hire a photographer or a videographer to come in and make this glorious page. Now that's helpful, and we have lots of wonderful videographers and photographers in the area that I'm sure Thomas or I could recommend to you, but it's just getting it done. And I will tell you that I have young students come to me all the time wanting to get into social media. How do I learn this? I'm sure there are people in this area that would be happy to come and help you, or just to try it out. Our youth are really on top of what's trending, what's going on. So how can you get somebody, maybe they already work there and they want to start or have a hand at that. So my goal for you would be to post 1 or 2 times a week. And if you can just say, you don't have to post every day. That's a common misconception, is I need to be posting every day or telling people every day. You don't want to oversaturate the market, but you want to seem relevant. And if you're going months, this is something I see even when I look at profiles, if you're going months without posting, people think that you've closed, or you're not relevant anymore, or you're not doing anything new and exciting. So how can you prove, hey, this is what we're doing? And if it's something as simple as, these are our daily specials, or this is what's new this week, or if you're a clothing store, we're having new arrivals. Like, I want to know there's a reason that I want to come in. There's a local jewelry business that I say they always post when they have new stuff coming in, and that makes me say, oh, I went last week, but I want to go this week because they have something new. Or if that's a restaurant or food, oh, you're offering something new, even if I came last month, oh, your seasonal menu has changed, that makes me want to come back in. And then as we know, we could get further deep dive into Reels, TikTok, that sort of thing, how you're broadening your audience. So one, it's this balance between how do I keep locals informed, but how do I also bring in new people? And then you want to post a variety. So that goes back to static posts, which what I mean by that is just photos. If you're just posting one shot, we could talk about algorithms and I could get very deep, but with a short period of time today, you want to post more photos. So on Instagram, for example, do we know what a carousel? Like when you post multiple photos? Okay, I'm getting some head nods. So if a viewer does not go through the whole carousel, let's say if there's 10 photos, they stop at photo 3. When that viewer opens up their Instagram again, that post will be pushed to them at photo 3. The algorithm encourages you to look at every photo before it goes away. So if you've posted one photo, someone has seen it, it will come back. So it's a way that you can, you want more, how does someone stay on your post longer, what can they learn? And then with videos, this goes for Facebook, for Instagram and beyond, videos are surfaced to a broader audience. So your photos are really only being shown to the people that already follow you. With a reel, it is being shown on a For You page, meaning it is pushing an audience where it thinks that people are maybe coming to the area, would be interested in that sort of content. So when I say post a variety, there's a benefit to posting photos, but there's a benefit from posting videos. There's a benefit from high resolution photography to just something you shot on your iPhone. We can talk more about that. And then have a strategy, right? Like go into it, and I know that this is, especially with small business owners, you're in the moment like, oh, we should maybe post that today. How can we go in and say, okay, I'm gonna strategically make it a goal to post more, to grow, to get people. And then it's also, how do we partner with the tourism, with Thomas, with the TDA? And if you really are putting a backing towards that, I will tell you that I can look very quickly at local businesses' pages and see who puts a huge effort onto their social media and to their SEO and who it's a second thought, right? Okay, so you're like, okay, great, Ellie. I understand what you're saying. There's some benefit from posting. I need to change my bio a little bit, but okay, I'm sitting down, I'm going to the drawing board. What am I going to post about? So there are 3 pillars of content, and this is for anything. This is for any business, any sports team that I've worked for, that generally every post that you see could fit under one of these 3 buckets. So that first is to inspire you. So what's inspirational, right? Like, is there a story? When I got up here and I told you my name, I told you where I was from, where I went to school, and these are the things I've done. Hopefully you're like, okay, that's an inspirational piece, right? Here's something about me. So how can you talk about why did you start your business? Where are you from? What's the root of this? What is your heart and soul behind this, right? Like, I could ask Seth, why did you open a business? And in his menu, I know there's a part of his story, why his location where it is, right? And so that is something that you want to share with people. And that's stories that maybe I don't even know. I've gone to businesses here my whole life, and maybe I don't know who the owner is. How do we put our owner and share their story or share someone's story that works there? To educate, right? Education goes back to that bio, your hours, that sort of thing. It's something simple. It's not an educational piece as in a tutorial, but something as simple as a graphic that says, this is what's new, our hours, our time, where we're located. That's all educational. Super simple, but something that you could continually educate on new items, your pricing, that sort of thing. So, and that could be something, maybe you don't do that once, you're not going to do that every week, but you have a new follower. Let's get through that education piece. Let's teach them again what we're about. And then you're informing, right? Like, I want to inform you of big events, of big things happening, right? These are these tentpole events that I really want to push, right? You're not going to push every week. Let's say if you're a restaurant, the same as you would during a tourism week, when the race is in town, when Merle Fest is in town, that sort of things. How do I strategically, whether it's around holidays, we talk a lot in the tourism industry, we sit and say, okay, why is someone coming in February? What do we know about February? What do we know about March? What do we know about this month? Not only as a local community, but what do people care about in February? Valentine's Day, right? How do we get people to think about coming here and where they're going to do and so forth for Valentine's Day? And then I see several of you, have hairdressers in here from all kinds of different sorts of industries, and that goes for you too, right? How do I have a special or something around a certain holiday or a certain event? We've talked about a ton, like during Merle Fest. How do we get people to come into Wilkesboro, North Wilkesboro, to shop and not just stay at Wilkes Community College? So I'm just wanting you to know that there are bigger conversations that we are talking to how to support you as well. Okay, so that is the bulk of my presentation. We want to leave a few minutes. Thomas, are we still good on time for some Q&A? First, I want to ask you if you're following us. Visit Wilkes. We have a Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. If you're unfamiliar, and this is something that I'm not going to stand up here and tell you to do something that the TDA isn't doing themselves. So how do we promote businesses? How do we promote the county as a whole as people and make people aware? So please follow our pages, and then this is my contact information at the top. All of my social handles are under the LA Times. This is my personal email address. If you have further questions, please reach out to me. So I will open the floor for some Q&A. Yes, sir.
Recently, Facebook has, I guess I'll say, penalized businesses that have alcohol. Not making any recommendations anymore on those businesses. What would you suggest for Facebook to get more followers so that we get better wider audiences? So it's just going to go to whoever subscribes to you at that point.
What is your name? It's Scott. Okay, Scott is saying that his business is penalized because they're selling alcohol. You're having the same issue. Well, you've taught me something. I didn't know that Facebook was penalizing alcohol sales.
Yep.
I would say, what else do you? Is that the primary part of your business?
Because we are a business that sells alcohol, no matter if we do different events or different presentations like that, they will not make recommendations for our business.
I'll expand on that too. For Seth County, but I actually have removed our page for Facebook.
For the public.
Well, they have removed the page, but
Well, I meant for the public.
it's not violation.
Yeah, so
Well, they
that,
didn't really explain very well when I got the thing. I was like, what did I do? What did I say? What?
Yeah, no, there's no violations other than we sell.
yeah.
Well, and I just noticed that even though my hours are there, it says I'm closed right now. Even though my hours are 11
That's
to 9.
not Facebook blocking that, there's something else there.
It's weird.
You're saying that Facebook let you know.
Yes, well, they said something.
They said something and said because you're selling
You can't,
alcohol.
because it goes against their social, the policies.
Community guidelines.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, well then I would say get off Facebook. I mean, seriously, can you use another tool that,
Yeah, we use Instagram,
right,
Well, Insta's owned by us.
right, Meta owns Facebook and Instagram, but I would say if Instagram's not being penalized, then I would say, why are we pushing something that's not gonna push you, right? Don't put your efforts on Facebook, go beyond to Instagram, and then is there a way to partner? Yes, Susan?
I wouldn't get all the way off
Yeah, I would
Facebook,
do that.
just because I know.
Right.
But if you're in a crunch and you have to prioritize on this day where I'm gonna post on Instagram and then make it up later on Facebook,
Well, I use a
because,
tool that allows me to post it
yeah,
on
but
Facebook and Instagram.
I'm like Ellie, I just learned about this, so
Uh,
you might see an email from the three of us after we've done a little more homework.
Yes, I'm like,
from everybody on this.
Yeah, I would not recommend to tell you, I would not recommend something to you that I don't have knowledge on. I will tell that for all of you, but that is something I think that we can go back and talk about, because I would say for now, how do you use your efforts beyond Facebook? But I would say that this is not going to serve them well in the end, right? People are gonna get off their platform at the end of the day. Yes?
What platforms do you suggest per demographic? So age bracketing or what you're looking for? I know we discussed Facebook, we discussed Instagram, and of course TikTok. What in your experience do you find to be the key demographics that each of those are targeted towards?
Yeah, so I'm an adjunct professor and I talk to my college students all the time and I ask them, I say, what are you on? When you leave this classroom, you pick up your phone and what's the first app that you open? For them, most of the time it's Instagram. And which has changed a lot because I've seen over the past 5 years that I've done this, it used to be Snapchat, which is they're not using Snapchat anymore and I thought it would be TikTok, and it's actually Instagram. And so then I asked them, what are your parents on? Well, what are your grandparents on? And that's Facebook. That's consistently been Facebook. But they're also on Instagram. I would say if I was trying to reach an audience from that teenage all the way to 50s, 60s, they're also on Instagram. So that is the one that everyone is really on and they're spending a lot of time on. I think if I was, and TikTok is becoming a little bit more like that. I think TikTok is finicky. It's with legal things and we know it's been up and down. I think that that's kind of your wild card. However, TikTok is the one platform that you're going to reach an audience outside of who already follows you. So I would say that if you're looking to expand to people that don't know about you, I posted a video from the tourism on a bakery in town, and I had several people comment and say, oh, I didn't even know this was here. I come to Wilkesboro once a week for work. I'm gonna go there. And so this was reaching an audience that comes in the area. And that goes back to your phone knows where you are right now, etc. right? So, and they know that you care. But that's what I would say. If you're trying to get abroad, I would say Instagram, your loyal followers, Facebook, and then TikTok for that younger demographic. And that's where you can be funny, right? Like you cannot put this just very point blank educational piece. That's more of that inspiring, entertaining piece.
I would say too, we could go and have a whole nother one of these just on like insights and tactics and things, and if that's something that y'all want to explore in a future session, we could certainly
Yeah, of course.
program that.
Who else? Questions?
We had one back here.
Yes.
I have a Airbnb on the lake, and as I think about different videos to take, I want to highlight the rooms, but I also kind of worry about security since I'm retired military, and so security I can't get that out of my system. So I worry like how do you balance like not showing, this is the entire layout of the house, with this is a really cool room that I themed on my travels in Africa, and this is really cool that I themed on my travels in Asia. And then we have this great view of the lake too.
That is very strategic, and I appreciate you saying that. I think that a lot of people, he was sharing his Airbnb, he's worried about safety, he's ex-military, and how do I not show too much? I think that's like with Airbnb, they don't have their actual location. So I would never put your physical address, but maybe put where you're located, and you're already saying that. I think that there is a balance between that. I think that you go ahead and showcase those rooms, right? I think that's a personal choice. of how much you want to show. I think maybe more the experience. How do I show the experiences that I can do in this area? You know, what can I do on the lake? What are the surrounding? What does the view look like? That sort of thing, without maybe showing every entry door, etc., to the house. So I think I think showing the experiences of why would I come here? Why would I stay there? You know, what are the unique ways about it? But I think anything that you feel is sharing too much probably is. However, I hope, maybe I'm naive, go ahead, Thomas, what were you
That's
gonna say?
okay. I was gonna add, if you guys are, I don't know how it is with Android devices, but with Apple devices, anytime you shoot a video on your phone, it logs a whole bunch of what we call metadata, which is just like data around like what type of device it was shot on, and it includes the location of where the video was shot. So if you like swipe up on the file, you'll see all that information, and you can go in there and like scrub that out of there. So that would be something that I would recommend too if you want it.
What are you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, because I have a glamping business and a farm, and we have the same challenge, right? So when you start to think about, like, as you put your address out there, or you put your location out there, we show the interiors of our tent, and we have cameras, we put gates in, we've just, you know, again, we've been doing it 5 years, and we haven't had a lot of issues, as much as people being curious, and again, the cameras and just kind of being cognizant of what's happening on your property.
I think that's even something that you could share. I think if you have cameras, you know, from me or someone saying something, you know, how do you promote that? Like, we have cameras, and then that's an awareness thing for other people, like not wanting to come. Okay, by the way, this is well surveillanced. That is me as an occupant, like that makes me feel better, but it's also telling other people, you're not welcome to come and just frolic around. I will say that something I would recommend for Airbnbs, and we talk about this a lot, is having an influencer or someone that has a following to come and stay. I was in Iceland last March, and we stayed in a glamping situation that, you know, people from all over the world come to, simply because I would say my friend who I went with, part of the whole reason was to come to this glamping for one night. We went a whole week in Iceland to stay one night in an igloo, right? And so how do you have somebody, that would be a top recommendation, is how do you have somebody that comes and showcases how cool it is to stay in your Airbnb? You might let them stay for free, you might pay them a little bit. Most influencers, I think, would come and stay for free, but then you also want to control their narrative too, right? I don't know if you want to see their video, but then you let people, because that's the thing, you can't control when someone's staying there and they think it's cool, you can't control what they post about it, right? And ultimately you want people talking about your place. So that's a great question. I don't have a great answer.
Yeah, to put a bow on that, I'll just say if there's enough interest in a conversation like that, again, there's some great Wilkes-based companies that provide privacy, like security services or IT services, that we can have them come and do something like this, or I'm happy to put them in touch with you, and you can discuss your individual needs with them directly. So I'd be happy to facilitate.
I'll take one more question and then toss it to Susan. Yes, Sam. You will see the algorithm quit pushing your stuff, right? I think you'll just see like the numbers, and that's the cool thing now with Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, is you don't have to be phenomenal at analytics to see in app, okay, this is my post of quit being shown. So I would say, you know, if you're posting every day and you're seeing, okay, let's say I could post once a week and maybe I get 500 views, and then I post 5 times a week and I'm getting 10 views each, it's way more beneficial for me to post that 1 time a week. And so I think it's just looking at the analytics, seeing how it's performing and saying, okay, this is too much. Yes?
One thing to tag with that one, you can use I think it's software or service called Social Blade that can actually track your metrics across multiple platforms. So you can put in your multiple handles, whether it's YouTube, whether it's Instagram or whatever, and then that'll actually track the views that you're getting and your metrics across the time frame. So you can even see what's best for your business, what outlet, but then also you can, I believe it's called Social Blade. So check that out.
And again, my name is Ellie. I hope that you were able to get a shot of my contact information. Again, I'm happy to talk with any of you further. And hopefully, if there's interest, like Thomas said, we could do more of a deep dive. Just even showing you how to shoot things on your iPhone. There's plenty we could go through on how to help all of you. So thank you so much for your time. And I'm going to toss it to Susan, who is going to go to PR.